Christmas Eve arrived wrapped in snow and silence, the kind that makes even a busy frontier town feel abandoned, and Eliza Moore stood at the edge of the wooden boardwalk with her small suitcase pressed against her leg, her fingers numb, her stomach hollow, and her heart heavier than the clouds hanging low over the oil lamps, because this was not how the letters had promised it would be, not how she had imagined the end of her long journey as a mail-order bride. A journey that had cost her everything she owned, and every hope she dared to protect. And yet here she was, alone, watching warmth through glass she could not touch, the glow of a small restaurant window revealing laughter, food, and life continuing without her. She had learned early that hunger was quieter than shame, that it settled deep and stayed there, and as she stood in the falling snow, her thoughts drifted back to the careful handwriting that once arrived. With such certainty, words about a home, a table, and a future, words that convinced her to leave behind the only world she had known, believing that even a stranger could become family if both tried hard enough. But the address led nowhere. The man never came, and Christmas Eve found her invisible, cold, and afraid, until she noticed a man inside the diner, sitting alone with a simple plate before him, a cowboy by the look of him, worn but steady, his face lit by candlelight, and though she tried not to stare, hunger betrayed her, pulling her eyes back to the steam rising from his food like a living thing. And when their gazes met through the glass, something shifted. Because he did not look away in discomfort or suspicion, he looked at her as if she were real, as if her quiet suffering mattered. And Caleb Wright had not planned on changing his life that night. He had come in only to escape the cold and eat before returning to his empty cabin, a man shaped by long trails, broken promises, and the belief that solitude was safer than hope. But seeing Eliza standing there, snow collecting on her shawl, pride keeping her rooted in place, stirred something he had buried long ago. And without thinking too hard, he pushed his chair back, opened the door, and let warmth spill into the night, offering her a seat, offering her half of what little he had. And Eliza stepped inside trembling, not just from the cold, but from the fragile relief of being invited. And as she lifted the spoon with shaking hands, she felt tears threaten because this meal was more than food. It was dignity returned. It was proof that kindness still lived in the world. And if this moment already pulls at your heart, remember to subscribe to the channel, because stories like this remind us why compassion matters. The night did not end when the plates were cleared, because some encounters refused to remain small. And as the diner emptied and the lamps dimmed, Caleb listened as Eliza spoke in pieces, careful at first, then braver, telling him about the letters that stopped, the savings that vanished with each mile traveled, the fear of admitting failure, and the deeper fear of being sent away once more. And Caleb understood more than he spoke, because he too knew what it meant to trust words that never became actions. And when he offered her shelter for the night, it was not from obligation but from quiet conviction, the kind that feels older than reason. And in his modest cabin, warmed by firelight and honesty, Eliza slept without clutching her suitcase for the first time since leaving home. And Christmas morning arrived without celebration, yet carried something richer, the beginning of belonging. And over the days that followed, snow softened the land while trust slowly took shape, built from shared chores, shared silence, and the absence of pressure. And Caleb never treated Eliza as a burden or a bargain. And Eliza never pretended gratitude was the same as love. And what grew between them was not sudden romance but respect, the strongest foundation two broken people can find. And though hardship still waited beyond the season, that Christmas Eve remained the moment everything changed. When a shared plate became a shared path, reminding us that sometimes the greatest gifts are not wrapped or promised, but offered freely by those willing to see another's pain. And if stories of hope, kindness, and second chances move you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because every subscription helps bring more heartfelt stories like this to life.